How to be as happy as Larry as you supersize your business. If I'd known that this expression existed, I would have named my sudden cardiac arrest bear Larry instead of Lonnie. But I named him Lonnie. But he has a happy ball, happy squeeze ball, stress balls. I love stress balls. I don't know if you do, but I've got all different shaped ones. I think they're fun. I used them when I was back in corporate America. Somebody gave me one, and ever since then, I think they're fun. So I like to grab them and collect them and find them. Not all the time, but just every once in a while. I don't use them so much anymore because I'm not as stressed as I used to be. So happy as Larry. What does this mean? Where did it come from? This is an idiom that's been around since the late 1800s, probably a little sooner, but a lady by the name of G.L. Oh, I guess it's a person. It might be a lady. I guess when I see initials back then, I assume that it's a woman, but that's not a good assumption. G.L. Meredith used it in Australia, a Kiwi, in 1875, and it meant a very happy person, somebody that's always happy and positive and optimistic. Well, in the 1890s, a boxer, an Australian boxer by the name of Larry Foley, won the biggest purse or prize of about $150,000 back then. And it was before boxing was regulated. So the newspaper, a New Zealand newspaper, in their headline used happy as Larry. And ever since then, in I would imagine Australia, New Zealand, that part of the world, and it's spread apparently, but it never spread to me. Happy as Larry is an expression that means a very happy person, somebody that's really stoked and excited and delighted about something, but somebody who's also goes through their life and tends to be happy. They're one of those people that look on the bright side of things. They're optimistic. They're positive. So this whole idiom and expression to me says, how do I stay optimistic and positive in my business as I'm growing and building and supersizing it? Because guess what? Things aren't always rosy and happy and positive as we're growing our business. As anyone who has been impacted by COVID-19 can attest over the last couple of years and continuing forward. A lot of almost every business, if they still exist today, has gone through massive changes and is doing things differently than they were just a couple of years ago. So how do we be optimistic? Let's talk about at least 5 ways to be optimistic in our business. Why do we want to be optimistic? Well, if we're happier and we look for more creative solutions. We get quality, better decisions and solutions if we look on the positive side of things. We are more solution oriented than we are problem focused. If you're problem focused, it's really hard to grow and build and supersize your business. Why? Because you're going from problem to problem to problem to problem to problem. Now, what if we're going from solution to solution to solution to solution to solution? That's a much more positive and progressive way of looking at our situation and growing our business than if we're focusing on the negative. So we want to focus on the positive. That's part of being optimistic. So how do we approach our business and our life to be more optimistic? Number 1, analyze your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs and give yourself credit for what's working, the strengths, the things that are good and positive in your business, and build on them. So much of life is focused on the negative. Just by focusing on the positive, making that small shift in your mindset and in your thoughts and beliefs, and in your going from pessimistic to optimistic, you are light years ahead of anybody that you might be competing against, because everybody else is focusing on the negative. What do you want to do to succeed and supersize your business? You always want to do what other people aren't doing. You want to do what other people aren't willing to do to supersize and grow your business. Number 2, think about your strengths. Oh, sorry about that. Think about your strengths and what you bring to the table, what good things you bring, and what other good things you could bring to the table, bring to the world based on that. Number 3, think of future events that could happen, because we're so busy planning for doom and gloom and the bad things that can happen. Well, what if we think about the good things that can happen as we grow and build and supersize our business, and make those happen by future pacing and thinking about the future with respect to the good that can happen instead of just the bad that can happen? Now, I'm not saying don't have a contingency plan, don't have options and know that there's different possibilities for if bad things do happen, but don't focus on the bad things and the increase the probability of them happening. Focus on the future, focus on the good things, focus on the things you want. 4th, minimize negative when it's realistic to do so. So COVID-19, If you're focusing on the negative and you're building that up and making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, guess what? You're creating more problems for your organization. If you are focusing on the opportunities of COVID-19, because there have been many, there have been billionaires made because of COVID-19. There have been entire industries created because of COVID-19. How many of us ever wore a face mask before COVID-19? I can count on one hand the times that I ever had a face mask on, and that includes skiing and snowing, right? Skiing, right? And winter sports before COVID-19. So that's just one example. How about hand sanitizer? I'd love to, I haven't done this, but I'd love to take a look at what happened to hand sanitizers, their sales due to COVID and things like that. Respirators due to COVID. Whole industries were created. So look for the opportunities in anything that you might consider negative whenever it's possible to do so. And finally, remember, tomorrow's another day. We always have the ability to change our minds, start over, correct mistakes, do something differently. Well, right now, we can do it right this instant, but tomorrow's always another day. We can always have a different perspective and do more, do differently, do more of the same that's working for us tomorrow. All right, I would love to know, have you ever heard this expression, happy as Larry? I haven't. But I started thinking about the people I know that are named Larry today, and it turns out I can't think of a single Larry that I know, and I'm sure there's some, don't get me wrong, but that isn't a really positive, happy, optimistic person. So maybe there's something to the happy as Larry. Maybe I should name my son Larry. All right. Have an awesome day. Share your experience with this idiom below, and I will be with you tomorrow with another and our final emotion-related idiom for the month of February. Have an awesome day.